Okay. First and foremost, man, I just want to say I appreciate you coming on to the podcast.
No worries.
So do you want to just give the viewers like a brief introduction, who you are, the type of content you produce?
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Jono. I guess you could categorize me as a self-improvement YouTuber, I guess. And I'm just here to help young people get better in life.
Nice, man, nice.
That's all.
Okay, I hear that. So where did that stem from? Is this like a passion that you've had for quite a while, or how long has this been like at the back of your mind wanting to do this?
So when I was younger, I came across self-improvement probably at the age of like 18, and currently I'm 23. So I've probably been on this journey for quite a while now. And I thought that it'd probably be the best for me to give back to the community instead of just take, and teach people what I know, and yeah, just give back to young men and help them learn through my perspective.
I like that. Okay, so you'd say that you've been on it for around 5 years now, then ish.
Yeah, probably five
Okay,
years, give or take.
okay. So, what would you say your life looked like before then? Like when you was, 16, 17, like what habits did you have? Would you say that you were still alright or with how was mental health, stuff like that?
So when I was younger, I was probably I was more of a degenerate, even up to the ages where I slowly started on self improvement. So I probably started on NoFap when I was like 18, 19 ish, around that age. But before that, I was I was pretty quiet younger. So I didn't really do too much, too bad. I was pretty addicted to video games, as most teenagers were. Um,
Yeah.
and then I found NoFap, and from there, my self improvement started. I started getting more into it and getting building. I started building a better relationship with myself, and my habits
Mm,
before that were not the best. So that was hard to do at first. I would just waste my time, not really value anything, and just, I don't know, my life was just a bit all over the place, I guess you could say. So coming to self improvement
mm,
definitely did help me out a little bit.
I see. Yeah, it's a pretty relatable story for a lot of us who are now on, self-improvement and stuff like
Yeah.
that, for sure.
Mm,
Okay, so
yeah.
around that time when you was 18, like who were some of the creators that you started watching that, really changed your mindset on a lot of things and maybe some that you still watch today?
So at first, I think it was like one of my friends actually just found, he came across NoFap. I don't know how he came across it.
All right.
But he just like said, "Oh, let's do this challenge," and we all started doing it. I think it was like me and two of my friends at the time. And I think eventually, because of that, it sort of like kept snowballing. And about a year after that, I think in about 2019, I started watching a red pill YouTuber. His name's Steph is Cold. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So I started
see.
watching him a little bit, and then one thing led to the other, and then he started like talking more about women, and then I started slowly getting into the red pill, which is probably not the best path to take as a young man, just because it's so focused on looks, money, status, women, and just those sort of things. So I really
Yeah.
got like involved in that sort of community, and then I don't know, I slowly started more so getting into the self improvement later on, I guess. But he was probably one of the main people that I found at first.
I see. Okay. And so you started watching like a lot of Red Pill content, right? So at what point and why do you
Mm-hmm.
think what pushed you away from it? Kind of like, did you not feel fulfilled, with all the Red Pill ideologies?
Well, it was probably like I don't even know, maybe a year or two ago where I started slowly coming off of it. But then I
Okay.
saw more so recently, like when I say recently, maybe like a year ago, I saw sort of Sneeko getting more and more and more into the red pill. And I saw what
Oh
that
yeah.
was doing to him and what that was doing and how that was affecting him. So, as someone from the outside looking in, I sort of like took a step back. I'd watch Fresh and Fit podcasts a little bit. So
Yeah.
every
Same.
time I'd watch them, I'd see just them getting angry at women, and I'd be like, is this really necessary? Not really. It's just the same
Yeah.
shit every single time.
I see. Yeah, that is true. They're always shouting at just a bunch of women who pretty much don't know anything. But yeah, okay,
I
that's fair
know.
enough.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. Okay, I see. Okay, so you've spoken a bit on like your channel and stuff about, you know, modern men and how they're weak and stuff. So for the people who may have not have seen those videos, why do you think, you know, modern men are really like weak and stuff like that?
Well, for the modern man, I think a lot of it is down to not building a proper relationship with themselves, which is first and foremost. And then, as well as that, because they haven't built a proper relationship with themselves, a lot of the time they tend to just distract themselves with vices that are addictive and bad habits that can just take them away from building a better relationship with themselves instead of actually taking that time learning about themselves and building that better relationship with themselves.
Okay, I see. So what would you say are like the first steps for, so let's say someone who is pretty much a weak kind of man, young adult, how can they take, what's the first step they need to take in order to become stronger, better, would you say?
The first step, in my opinion, would be self realization and just making that realization that you're not in the position that you want to be in life. And I know it's a lot easier said than done, obviously, but making that realization that you're not happy with your life and the life that you're living, because that's what I did when I used to just party and do a bunch of bullshit when I was like, say, 18, even 19. I made that realization that I wasn't happy with my life. And because I wasn't happy, I knew that I needed to change what I was doing on the day to day in order to see different results in my life. So, for any young man out there, in order to make that change, you need to first make that realization. And then, after, start changing the habits that add up over time. And as well as that, start, um, I guess, changing your environment and making sure that the people that you're with are going to be beneficial to you and your development moving forward.
Hmm. Okay, nice. So you mentioned, you know, like changing the habits that you do there. So what
Mm-hmm.
habits would you say are you pretty big on at the moment that you incorporate into your daily life that has really changed, you know, like the trajectory you're on?
So, when I first started on self improvement, I'd say a lot of the habits were the minor ones, more so. So, more, I guess, no fap, um, getting up earlier, making my bed, all of those smaller habits. But now at this point in my life, I've realized that it's important to have a goal and have a direction in my life so that I'm not just waking up every morning, doing the smaller habits, which are good, but also having a larger goal that I can work towards every single day so that I don't just wake up and just waste my time.
I love that, man. Okay. So I've seen like on your channel, you've also spoken a bit about, you know, like women and stuff like that. And obviously there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
lonely men out there who crave female attention and stuff. So how can, you know, people today, young men, Like, what do they need to do to improve their attractiveness?
Yeah, for sure. For most young men, it comes from building yourself up first and actually working on yourself internally. Because what I see with a lot of young men, even though they go to the gym, even though they work on themselves, like looks maxing or whatever, like whatever things like that, they'll work on themselves externally, but still internally they might be broken. And because of that,
Mm,
then it's hard for them to build that relationship with themselves. And because they don't build that relationship with themselves, then it's very easy to get attached to women. And if that relationship ends, then they feel like shit and they don't know where to go in their lives. So I'd 100% say build that relationship with yourself first and foremost, because it is the most important thing.
I see. Okay. And in terms of the, external factors, what would you say are like the
Mm-hmm.
biggest things? Is it physique? Is it, hairstyle? What would you say it is?
So yeah, obviously looks do matter to an extent, right? Like we're not going to sit here and lie, but though the things that matter, obviously, get in the gym, start working out. If you're new to the gym, figure out what works for you, what you want to start on. I've been going to the gym for a few years, probably since I was like 18, 19. I really got serious with it. Um, but yeah, for sure, the gym. And I found for me personally, because I had pretty bad acne when I was a teenager, clear up your face and, help yourself look better, because then you'll feel
Mm,
better about yourself to an extent, and you'll be able to be more confident in yourself and in your looks.
nice, man. Yeah, that's true. The gym is really important. So speaking of the gym, how did you, exactly get started in the gym? Were you a cardio person, lifting heavy weights? Like, and what did your physique look like at the beginning?
So at the start, I think I was in my final year of high school. So I would have been like 17 at the time, I think. And basically, I used to just go to the gym and just do a bunch of cardio for the first year. So I started lifting weights a little
Ah,
bit in that first year, but it wasn't much because I had no guidance. I had no one telling me what exactly to do. So basically,
I
go to the
see.
gym, do cardio, and then go home. And that was pretty inconsistent as well. In the second year, I started getting more into weightlifting, but the issue was my diet was terrible. So wasn't eating enough food. Food wasn't clean enough, and yeah, so I didn't see much progress in that second year either. The third year, though, I started putting on more weight because I started eating more, started eating cleaner, and my workouts were actual proper good workouts. So I started seeing a little bit more progress. But the main bit of progress that I saw was probably within the last two 2 to 3 years, where I actually started taking it more serious and started working out more. So yeah, it took I took my time, and it took time because I didn't have that proper guidance at first to know what I was doing.
Mm, I see. And so, because there's going to be, a lot of people in that same situation in the early stages, they're going, but they haven't really got much guidance. So they're not seeing the results that they expect to see and stuff like that. So how does someone or you stay motivated in those times to, keep going even when you're not seeing all those results?
Um, at first, if I'm being honest, I wasn't motivated. I wasn't like I just sort of go when I felt like it. I wasn't disciplined at all either. So I just kind of go when I felt like it. If I didn't feel like going that night because I'd want to play video games or stay inside, then I didn't go to the gym. If I felt like going, mainly because one of my friends will go, then that pushed me a little bit more. But throughout those
Mm,
first, say, 2 to 3 years of working out, I wasn't motivated. I barely went. I probably went like 2 to 3 days a week, So at first, I did find it really hard to go, but over time, I started developing the discipline more when I started seeing slow results, as well as I started getting into more fitness videos on YouTube. And those videos helped me out a
Okay.
lot in building that discipline and knowing more what I needed to do in the gym.
Mm, okay. And are there any fitness content creators that you would recommend, like that personally have helped you the most?
Um, as of like recently,
Yeah.
no. But
Okay.
when I was working out back in the day, I think is his name Jeff Nippard. I think that one.
Oh
Have
yeah.
you seen
Yeah.
him? Yeah,
I've seen him.
I,
Yeah.
I used to watch his videos because he used to break things down easy, as well as I think his name's there's another one, Athlete X. I think
Oh, I
he
haven't heard
used
of
to
that
break.
one.
He used to just break down all the workout stuff, and then Jeff, I think, was a bit more. He used to do more diet related videos that I used to watch. So I guess those two were probably the main ones that I used to watch.
Okay. Okay. Nice. And okay, so moving on from like the gym and stuff, I've got a question for you here.
Hmm.
What is one, maybe a quote or just a piece of advice, a statement that you've heard anywhere? Maybe it's from a book, maybe it's from a YouTuber, maybe it's even from your parents or something that really changed your outlook on a particular thing. Maybe it's discipline, consistency, something like a gem that just really changed your life in a certain way.
For me personally, nothing really like sticks out really.
Oh, okay.
It was more what I guess developed over time. Nothing really just stuck
Mm,
overnight. It was just over time with slowly doing, the hard work more. I started seeing smaller results, and I guess that's just sort of how my motivation and discipline stuck with me.
I see. Okay, that's fair enough. What is one piece of advice that you would give to, yourself from 5 years ago, your 18-year-old self in hindsight? That something that you wish you'd known back then that would have maybe helped you or made you make progress a lot faster, something like that.
For myself, 5 years ago, I guess create a plan and have have some direction in your life so that you know where you're going,
Mm,
you know what to do, and you don't just waste time, I don't know, being lazy and not getting work done. And as well as having a
actually,
plan,
yeah,
make sure you execute constantly.
make sure you execute. Nice. Okay, I have a follow up from that question actually. There's going to be like, people watching this who are in that stage from you 5 years ago or 6 years ago,
Hmm.
and they are pretty much directionless. So my question to you is like, what is a piece of advice you'd give to them? Like, cause they're low on motivation right now. They haven't got any discipline and they feel
Hmm.
purposeless. So how can they get out of that rut and find some direction in their life and execute as well?
Um, that's a good question. Um, for people that were in my position 5 years ago, I'd say definitely stop with the bad habits because they're not going to help you in the long run. They're not. They might be fun there and then, but they're definitely not going to help you. So stop with the bad habits, and if you can, slowly start to implement, even if it's one good habit per month. Slowly start to implement the good habits into your life slowly, and results will compound over time.
Results component. Nice. Very good answer, man. Okay, so where can people find you on YouTube, social media, all that stuff?
So if people want to find me, I'm Jono1X on, I think, just Instagram, and then on YouTube, youtube.com/@ I'm Jono. And those are pretty much my links.
Okay. They'll be in the description as well for anyone who wants to check him out. Thank you for coming on, bro. I really appreciate you
No
taking the
worries,
time
my
to have a
brother.
chat.
Nice meeting you. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.